Okay, so now that you have an understanding about how living things affect the flow of matter and energy in ecosystems, we're going to look at how climate can change or also affect ecosystems. So this goes with learning target 27, explain the different biomes and how climate affects ecosystems and how it can affect biodiversity. Okay, a biome are large geographic areas that have similar climates. They have the same average amount of temperature and rainfall, and they also have very similar ecosystems. The biosphere, which we saw at the beginning of the unit when I gave you a picture, it's all areas on Earth that support life. So it's any area that has a biome. So now let's start talking about the different types of biomes. So there's a lot. So just so you know, 2 has a lot of different types of biomes. Okay, so 2 is going to have a list of all the different types of biomes. So one biome is the tundra. The tundra has a very cold and dry climate. Usually they don't have a lot of trees, high elevation, just north or south of the poles. Also low amounts of precipitation, long winters. Here's what the tundra looks like. So we can actually get to the tundra the higher we go up in the mountains and the higher in elevation where tree line is, past tree line where the trees disappear. This is a tundra. Very cold and dry. Then if you take a look, these are areas on Earth that have the tundra biome. The dark green are the areas that have the large tundra biomes. The taiga is south of the tundra. It's usually 50 and 60 degrees north of the equator. Cold, forest, evergreens, warmer and wetter than the tundra, long winters. So here is where the taiga is located on Earth, and here's what it looks like. Kind of looks like where we live too, because we have the mountains. Another biome is the temperate deciduous forest. Now, a temperate deciduous forest has 4 seasons. Precipitation is 75 to 150 centimeters. The temperature range depends on the seasons. Most trees lose their leaves in the fall, and there are some evergreens. So this is where we have in the world where you see a temperate deciduous forest. And here's temperate deciduous forest in the fall. Leaves are changing color. Then we have the temperate rainforest. So the temperature is anywhere from 9 degrees Celsius to 12 degrees Celsius. Precipitation is 200 centimeters to 400 centimeters. So a lot more rain than the deciduous rainforest. This is a temperate rainforest. And here's where they're located on Earth, this biome. Very marshy looking. Then we have the tropical rainforest. It is a warm, wet biome, lots of plants near the equator, 25 degrees Celsius the average temperature all year round, 200 to 600 centimeters of rain minimum. So it receives a lot of rainfall. This is where the tropical rainforests are located, these biomes on Earth, right by the equator. They have a huge diversity of life, so they have a very large biodiversity. Big plant leaves. Then there's the desert biome. It's the driest biome, less than 25 centimeters of rain on average, thin, sandy soil. It's where the deserts are located on Earth. Grasslands, last biome, 25 centimeters to 75 centimeters on average. They have a dry season where it doesn't rain a lot, no forests, but there are prairies, savannas, and lots, that says lots, typo, lots of grass. So here's where our grasslands are located on Earth, and that's what they look like. Sometimes they're called savannas. Okay, so now let's talk about what biodiversity means. Okay, so our targets have to deal with how climate and living things can affect ecosystems and biodiversity. So we just went over all the biomes, and if you think about it, if we have climate change, if you have ecosystems that rely on a certain amount of rainfall in a certain climate to live in, and that all of a sudden changes, then you're going to have some ecosystem changes. So biodiversity is the degree of variation of life forms within an ecosystem. So that's the differences of different types of life forms within an ecosystem. Like I was talking about, the tropical rainforest has one of the most diverse ecosystems, has a lot of different types of populations. So they have a very high biodiversity. The more biodiversity, healthier means healthier ecosystems. We also find more advancement in medicines because of biodiversity. That's why a lot of our medicines have come from living things in the rainforest, tropical rainforest. Now, things that can cause a decrease in biodiversity, loss of habitat. So in the rainforest, humans are cutting down trees in the rainforest for lumber. We're destroying parts of the rainforest to build shelter out of wood. So living things have lost their habitat when they are taking down the trees. So that decreases biodiversity in the rainforest. Climate change. So in the beginning of the year, we talked about how plates move over time. Now again, remember this takes millions of years to happen for the plates to move. But when plates do move, and over millions of years, there can be a climate change. Climate change can also happen from human activities. So we can cause a climate change when we increase the amount of pollutants that are put in our atmosphere. That can cause something called temperature inversion, where the pollutants in the atmosphere trap in the heat that is reflected off from the sun to our ground and then back up into the atmosphere. It'll trap that heat in instead of going through our atmosphere and back out into space. So human activities can affect biodiversity. Pollution, overharvesting. So when we farm and we take too much of the land for farming, that can decrease habitat and cause a decrease in biodiversity. Now, this link right here is going to a PowerPoint presentation. This PowerPoint presentation is linked underneath the video. What I would like you to do is you do not have to take notes on the PowerPoint, but I want you to go through the slides and read about specifically what decreases biodiversity. So besides what I've presented in the notes, loss of habitat, climate change, and human activities, this PowerPoint is going to go into detail about what happens with loss of habitat. It's going to start talking about extinctions. Okay, Earth has had 5 mass extinctions that has caused a decrease in biodiversity. Each of these extinctions have removed at least 50% of all species. Humans are causing the 6th extinction. We are causing it with our pollution and our activities. Okay, so I want you to read through this PowerPoint and take a look at specifically what is causing a decrease in biodiversity. Okay, so that will be linked on the website. So please make sure that you have that and you go through it and you read about it. Okay, so after you've listened to the video and read through the PowerPoint presentation that is attached underneath the video, you should be able to explain the different biomes, and you should be able to tell me what factors are affecting biodiversity. How is climate change affecting biodiversity? How is loss of habitat affecting biodiversity? And how are humans causing the loss of biodiversity?